Oh yeah. Hopefully that.
I'm playing with myself.
I'm glad he's not live right now.
We are live.
Great.
Okay, is that good? Are we live?
Yep, we're live.
All right, hey, what's going on, Michigan Troop, XP001, and
Mr. X.
Hey, we're going to give you an update on the August 20th classes, the 2 on the 20th and 2 on the 21st. So, without further ado, we're going to swap out instructors. Mr. X is going to take over from Mr. Blue. That's why we're doing this video, to update you guys on that, and that's nothing bad. So, for all you guys, Mr. X, give us a quick round of your bio.
Yeah, hey guys, Mr. X here. 20 years in the military, and spent, if you guys don't already know, you guys can go to the website, but he's my boss. He's telling me to do this, so I'm going to do it. 20 years in the military, spent 4 years in the Marine Corps as a grunt, as an 0311, and my secondary MOS was 8541, which is a scout sniper back in the day before they did this whole changing of the MOS thing. Spent my last 3 years in the state platoon. Scout sniper operations, went through sniper school in 95. That doesn't really have anything to do with this course coming up, but that's part of my bio.
And then
got to go to like squad leader school and team leader school and all that stuff. You know, as a sniper, we did spend a lot of time in, you know, individual platoons and doing the whole designated marksmanship role, and you know, going out and did plenty of caxes out there in 29 Palms, and plenty of missions overseas in Okinawa and a couple other places. All training though in the Marine Corps. Didn't get to deploy because that was pre-2000. That was pre-9/11, 2001. Got out of the Marine Corps, missed it, joined the Army. Marine Corps didn't want to take me back being a sniper as a grunt, so I was like, you know what, I can get a guaranteed Ranger contract. So that's what I did. Spent the first 5 years in the Army as a Ranger in 1st Ranger Battalion, Savannah, Georgia. Went from specialist up to staff sergeant, deployed as a squad leader over to Afghanistan, December of 2001 to March, April of 2002. Basically covered the whole southern region, Afghanistan. Got to do a couple cool missions, and unfortunately lost a couple brothers over there. It happens, it is what it is. Taught me a lot about myself, and you know, hopefully I'd like to think it made me a better leader. But I did get in a little bit of trouble and went 7.5 and decided to go Special Forces, because I don't think you can go Special Forces unless you get into a little bit of trouble. It's the way it worked back in the day. But ended up going to 3rd Group out of Fort Bragg, and spent the last 12 or so years out of my career, down in 3rd Group. I was an engineer, explosives expert, and spent about 3 years in the SIF.
what is the SIF?
We were both funny you should ask. In a nutshell, we're kind of considered the tier 1 unit in SF. Now, in saying that, we weren't Delta. We supported Delta. We did a lot of missions with Delta over in Iraq, and there were times where they covered nights. We covered days. We'd switch off. We would cover, what did I say? They covered nights, we covered days, and we would cover nights and they would cover days. So got a lot of cool experience working with those guys overseas. Basically, the SIF was the door kickers in the SF community. So I spent a lot of time training, kicking over open doors, CQB for 3 years, and kind of broadened my horizons. And you know, the whole SF mission is to train indigenous forces over in Afghanistan, you know, clearing compounds and buildings, doing my whole 18 Charlie thing, clearing IEDs and doing that stuff. But those 3 years that I was in the SIF, it's been a primary role just doing CQB.
Direct action.
Exactly, direct action. So that was a great time, learned a lot, and I implemented a lot of that training and those skills as a ZERT instructor, and it was definitely a blessing doing that. It was the cool thing is, whether I was a Marine sniper, Marine infantryman, a Ranger, an 18 Charlie, and an SF ODA, or in the SIF, you know, having all those different backgrounds, it definitely, you know, I feel that it's kind of broadened my horizons as an instructor, because, you know, the cool thing is, not dissing anybody in particular, not saying anybody's one-dimensional, but I've kind of added, the whole aspect of, I can teach the basic form of like CQB or tactics or the basics when it comes to marksmanship, but then according to my career, I'm also able to teach more advanced stuff to the point where, we always talk about like crawl, walk, run. When you're overseas teaching indigenous forces that, one day they were a farmer and then they volunteered to be like ANCOP, Afghan National Police. These guys are farmers that we've got to take like 3-4 weeks to make these guys into, police officers or ANA that's going to assist us on missions over there. And, I'm clearing rooms right beside these guys, at the end of the month because they're out there doing missions with us. So if I can do that with a person that I can't even understand their language, and I don't see any issue with me being able to teach, I don't want to say civilians, but, we have ZERT members that are, they take these classes to learn the basics. And I taught a class in Pennsylvania a couple months ago where, day 1, day 2, we're doing basic rifle, basic pistol, and by the end of the second day, we're doing, even though it's basic, we're doing basic live fire exercises. So one of the benefits of this class is, to get you guys up to a level where, and this is kind of going past my resume, I like to talk a lot, it's his fault, but one of the cool things is, when you guys get up to a certain level in your classes, and then we can, bring a Mr. X or Mr. Blue or one of the other instructors out to do like a CQB class or a class that's further into like a live fire exercise, and stuff like that. So my classes is not only to train you, but it's to do an assessment on you guys and to make sure that you guys are ready for the next ZERT class that comes to your area. And hopefully it's, Pennsylvania was a great experience because right after I did that class there a couple months ago, I'm heading right back to Pennsylvania in September to do an even more advanced class. So some of you guys want the basics, some of you guys want an advanced class, and as long as you guys fill up those classes, hey, we'll send an instructor right back out there to do the next class. And I'll shut up now.
That's the thing. Like, hey, Michigan, you guys have some huge meet and greets. You guys are always duking it out with Colorado. PA is right up there with you guys, but PA, as far as the Hillers, their organization, they're those guys. This is their third event. Those are the same group of people. Basically contacting each, you say, hey, we want you out this month, we want this type of class. So those guys are progressing. Now, what Mr. X hit a point where you have CQB classes, right? Well, when we talk about the basic fundamentals, what you guys will be learning there, like I always say, what is advanced shooting? Advanced shooting is executing complex drills safely, 100%. So a lot of guys will go, I just want to go to a CQB course. Well, when they go to the CQB course, they don't have the fundamentals of weapons handling down. So it really does affect their ability to learn and understand the true mechanics of running through the house. Because if you don't have, why do we have transition drills? Well, think about it. If we're shooting a rifle inside a room, we go dry, and now we're transitioning to our pistol and we're shooting, those sorts are eliminated. Now the team's moving to the next room. Now you got to reholster, get your gun back up loaded or that malfunction cleared before you guys go in the next room. So having those subconscious weapons manipulation skills is really going to enhance your ability when you start learning CQB. So that being said, CQB close quarter battle is completely different than CQC, or what is known as close quarter combat, which in the Navy, where Mr. Blue put that program together, those are all the drills and skills that Navy SEAL operators need before they enter the shoot house. Now, on the Army side, that's called CTE, Critical Task Evaluations, which is a series of drills that Green Berets and CIF, Commanders and Extremist Force operators, need to complete prior to going in the house. Those are the basic fundamentals that they have to pass before they go in the house, because then basically it's going to excel and they'll have a better understanding of how to run their guns. So with the classes that Blue has set up, there really hasn't changed, but the cool thing about ZERT is, SEALs will teach it one way, Green Berets will teach it a different way, Delta may be a little bit different, Force Recon and MARSOC, it's almost probably similar because MARSOC's being advised by Green Berets, believe it or not. So when we go down there, there's 4 classes in those 2 days. There's a pistol and rifle, 8-hour pistol, 8-hour rifle on Saturday, same on Sunday. It's gonna be a long day for this guy. So with that being said, with the only max of 12 students per class, that's gonna allow a lot more private instruction and fine tuning. So, a lot of our events, we'll have 20, 24 students, 1 or 2 instructors. We're still debating on bringing out another instructor to assist Mr. X, and that really depends on day 2. Scott's shaking his head no, but
Mr. X can handle it. He's got it on lock.
So,
you guys, I mean, in saying that, I'd love to have I've taught classes where the student to instructor ratio was 5 to 1. Taught classes that the student to instructor ratio was 20 to 1. A 10 to 1, 12 to 1 is just about right for me. You guys are going to get plenty of one-on-one, and realize I'm not a Navy SEAL, and that's cool. And hopefully you guys don't have a problem with that. Like I said, I've got a Ranger background, I've got an SF background, and a pretty darn extensive CQB background. I've taught these classes before. I don't teach these classes like Mr. Blue teaches these classes. I've taken these classes from Mr. Blue, and Mr. Blue has taken my classes, and I've learned a lot from him. He's learned a lot from me. There are differences between, and I don't want to say Army CQB and Navy CQB. There are differences between Ranger, SF, and SEAL CQB, and I tend to bring 2 different aspects of, and with me it's all about, crawl, walk, run. I've taken kind of my Marine Corps experience and added it to the whole crawl phase. And as long as you guys maintain a certain level and move up accordingly, some of my classes, I'm going to put out a POI, and you guys will probably get a picture of this, and I do it for every one of my classes. It's a little Excel spreadsheet covering everything that I'm going to teach. Everything is dictated by you. If you guys get out there and you guys are freaking hopping and popping and are squared away, you guys are definitely going to move along. The first day and the second day might be 2 completely different classes based on the class, based on the students. And if we got to slow down a little bit on one of the days, I have no problem slowing down to work on certain skills. But, one of these days, or, if you guys come out and you guys are freaking hopping and popping and you're on it, we will definitely advance at a higher level. It's all based on you. I'm not saying that I'm going to teach you guys. There's several different, we always talk about points of domination, free flow, strong wall. You guys are going to get a little bit of, a taste of all that as we're training. We're not clearing rooms in this class, but we're going to be doing skills, and we're going to be talking about certain things where this might be an indoor range, but you guys are going to be moving and shooting. You guys are going to do the exact same stuff that, I did in Ranger Battalion, that we did in SF. The same skills, same dynamic, same everything. So it'll be a pretty good time.
Yeah, plus you had a bunch of, or a handful of Michigan people out of the Missouri class when you did Missouri.
Exactly, and some of you guys can get online. I know this is a live feed. I'm not intelligent enough to bring this up on my cell phone. You guys can see all the answers and all the stuff that they're talking about right now. But hey, guys, ask us questions and do all this stuff. It's a live feed. But I've had a few of you guys in my classes already, and we've had a pretty good time. But all my classes are based. I've got an overall outline. I taught the Pennsylvania class, and those guys did above and beyond. And by the second day, we went to a live fire, and based on how well they did on drills, we either slowed things down or we sped things up, and it's all based on the class. So yeah.
Well, I'd like to say also it's the ability for the instructor to relay the information for the student to retain it and apply it effectively on the range. So that's why our instructors like Mr. Blue, Mr. X, Chief, Mr. Wolf, and a lot of those other instructors out there, I'm very particular and anal about our instructors be able to do that. So we're just doing this video, because basically Mr. Blue got tied up, so Mr. X is filling in. You guys will not be disappointed, whatsoever. Key thing is, guys, for this class is that I want to make a point is, for you guys that are, your rifles, make sure they're zeroed, make sure they're cleaned, and make sure they're lubed. You guys gotta understand too, there's a difference of going to the range and plinking your rifle, right? than actually attending a course and really putting that gun to its paces. So, make sure those guns are clean, bolts are lubricated, hydrate the night before. Pre-fit all your gear. So if you're going to be wearing, plate carriers or your belts or anything, get all that stuff situated. If you have, tail ends of, from straps and stuff, line them up, tape them up, make all the adjustments now. If you don't know, that's what Mr. X is here for. The biggest thing about ZERT training is, if you don't know what you don't know, that's why we're here to help. So no question is too stupid. And that's what I think what makes ZERT training so unique. Because other classes, they'll, I've been to a class where a student showed up with his iron sights on backwards, and the instructor was kind of belittling him and making a joke out of him, like, that's fucked up, because one, he paid for the class, two, the guy didn't know what he knew. So why are you going to treat that individual like that and single him out in the class? It's not right. So that's the great thing. Hey, we look after each other, right? We take care of each other. And for your class, I would say charge up all your mags.
Go ahead and load up all your mags but one. One magazine should be empty. One
Pistol,
mag.
rifle, both.
So pistol and rifle, keep one mag. You guys will, I'll let you know as soon as the class starts why. But it has something to do with one of the drills that I do. But go ahead and charge up all your mags. Make sure they're all full. When I say full, don't load 30 rounds in a 30-round magazine. Load 29.
What's a 30-round mag? You're supposed to have 30 rounds.
Hey, that's one of my things. But yeah, keep one magazine that doesn't have any ammo in it. Hydrate the night before. Also, at least bring a gallon of water with you. If you're there for an 8-hour period, another 8-hour period, bring 2 gallons of water. Whenever I teach, I'm usually, anytime I get a break from talking, I'm usually downing a bottle of water, and we're going to be hitting it hard, and we're going to be hitting it fast, and you guys are going to have just enough amount of time between drills to take a drink of water, jam another mag, and we're going to be right back on the line. So you're definitely, I have not taught a single class with ZERT or in the military or anywhere that I've ever taught that my students haven't felt that they got their money's worth. So it should be a good time. And if you guys, I don't know who's already signed up for the class, but if you're one of the members that have taken my class before, I look forward to seeing you again. And if you're not, I look forward to training with you. But it should definitely be a good time. And saying one of the things that XP001 already brought up, I've had a class where a guy showed up and, unfortunately it was a longer range class, and he showed up and he's like, hey, here's my AR, here's my optic, and he had I'm not going to call anybody out, but he had like a Vortex, 1x6 razor, because we talked about it in a class, and, he's in the back of his car, mounting this thing. There's certain things, hey, if you've got a sight that you're mounting, make sure you take this stuff to a gun store or a shop, level this thing, make sure it's mounted correctly, because he spent X amount of money on a long range class, and I looked through his gun and his reticle's like 2 degrees off. Hey, that stuff makes a difference. So all XP001 saying is set yourself up for success. That's what you want to do. Don't show up for these classes with all these pouches that aren't on your kit, and you're out there trying to figure out what works. Make sure your kit's set up. Hey, if it's wrong, it's wrong. We'll talk about this stuff. We'll improvise. We'll improve. We'll do whatever. That's what the purpose of this class is, to talk about your kit. If you've got a couple extra pouches, hey, bring them along, man. We'll talk about this stuff. If you don't want to run kit, that's fine. I don't run kit in any of my classes because it costs an arm and a leg to ship this stuff to Michigan. So you're going to see me with the basic war belt, my pistol, my rifle. I think one of the things in the class is make sure you have pouches to carry 2 pistol mags, 2 rifle mags if you're taking both courses. So, and I fully, some of you guys are going to talk about, I've already seen some of you guys just want to take the pistol, just want to take the rifle. That's fine. But if you have a pistol and a rifle, it's going to be worth your while to take both of them. So, you can take, I don't know what you guys' policy is. If you want to take pistol on one day and rifle on the next day, that's fine. Pistol on the rifle, hey, whatever works, we've got it lined up, accordingly.
Or for all you hard chargers, taking both the same day.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Taking all 4. What?
Well, if you take all 4, it's just going to be the second day is just going to be a review of the first day. So
Well, you get a lot more range time, and that's the big thing, guys. Is that made a good point. Where let's just say you took both rifles each day. I know we got to do a live feed at 4, so Scott's trying to hurry us up. But the thing is, if you do the pistol on Saturday, then you come back on Sunday, you're going to be doing the same drills, but Paul or Mr. X is going to know what level, and he's going to start minute fine-tuning you as well, because there's only 12 students in each class. So that's the key thing, guys. I don't stop training. I continue to go to school. I take some of the same classes over and over again, because I'm always a student, but so I can be fine-tuned as well and always improving. So hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope everything's good, and yeah, it's coming up, guys. So if you haven't, if you're debating, if you have any questions, guys, give us a call, hit us up on Messenger, and we're going to share this over to the events page on the main page, and this will go over to Y Squadron as well. But yeah, if you got questions, ask. That's what we're here for, guys. All right. So thanks for tuning in. XP001 and
Mr. Rex, and I look forward to seeing every one of you guys in Michigan.